Wow, Amanda. Cream pie confessions, Sergeant steroids. Talk about clickbait. I thought you were better than this. That's what he said.
Oh my God.
Did you respond?
Gaslighting.
I did. No, so much gaslighting. I did because a few days prior to that, he was reaching out to me and he sent me a text that said, "Hey, I'm starting something up and I would really like your input. I know you have a very successful podcast and you're amazing at marketing. Could you help me?"
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the number one sugar dating podcast in Chicago and the entire world,
Marcus.
where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad. And Lily?
The amazingly, shockingly gorgeous guest of our show.
I didn't know where you're going with it, but yes, the shocking stories of sugar dating. And you look shockingly amazing and orange today.
I'm being bright and festive.
You know, now you're tanned up.
Yeah, I got a spray tan and I'm absolutely loving it.
I'm starting to forget that you're a white lady.
Oh.
You look like, came south of the border.
Oh, yeah. You're probably more and more attracted to me with this tan. What if I dyed my hair brown?
I tell you
We'd
what.
be in trouble.
Marcus has his preferences. All right. We just finished up a huge party. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But if you want to see behind the scenes photos, videos, all kinds of good stuff, go to our Patreon now. It's at patreon.com/secrets of a sugar daddy podcast. We have a lot of new members. It's just a lot of fun. The conversations are great. The pictures and the videos of behind the scenes are a lot of fun. I've got a bunch of videos. I've got some of Trucker pole dancing on the party bus. I haven't posted yet. I'm figuring out how to blur faces.
I don't think we're posting
We're
that.
not posting that one?
Well, I mean, if you're cool with posting yourself pole dancing,
Well, maybe.
I don't think my man would be okay with it.
No. Oh, gosh.
I'll ask.
Ask him, but we've got a lot of other photos still I haven't even published yet because we're going to do a little bit of editing on those, but just look for those. And then you get to hear all the episodes and extra sugars before anybody else.
Yeah.
And then we have some options that include coaching and profile reviews. Matter of fact, I have a couple. I need to forward those to you.
I
Get you back to work.
just did one day before yesterday or yesterday.
We had a couple more people sign up as the ultimate VIP members. Now, you're not required to. Even the basic membership will unlock the entire site. But the ultimate VIP, unlimited coaching, unlimited profile reviews, and you get Lily's personal number, which that's worth the price of admission alone right there.
Yeah.
And my personal number. You have direct access to Marcus and Lily. You want to call us at 3 a.m? We're not going to answer, but we'll get your message.
Leave a voicemail.
Right?
My ringer's perpetually off.
So we thank our ultimate VIP members. We thank all of our members. Matter of fact, if you want to try out the site, you can become a free member. I posted a free photo today. So there are good free items.
I posted several free photos this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So become a free member, take a look around, but you're definitely going to want to unlock the entire site. Starts as little as $10 a month and try it out. And if you don't like it or you feel like it's not worth it, message me. It's simple. I will hit a refund button that pops up. No harm, no foul. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for trying our ice cream flavor.
So today's guest, and I've already told you guys, she's one of my favorites because she gets a lot of downloads. We have her on, and our podcast goes crazy. Matter of fact, we just had her on a few weeks ago, pre-party.
Yes.
And I looked at our download numbers, and again, they're through the roof. I don't know what's up with this girl.
Well, she has all these followers, and I'm sure she mentions, hey, I was on this podcast. Take a listen.
I think she's just re-listening 50 times over to make our numbers go up. So She's fooling me. But no, she really does bring the numbers. So welcome back to the show, Amanda from the Dichotomy Diaries podcast. Hello, Amanda.
guys.
You look fantastic.
Thank you. I'm not going to lie to you. I walked in the door from last night about 2 hours ago.
What?
I was at a baseball game that we partied into the evening in Wrigleyville. And me and the guy that I'm seeing, we got a hotel downtown. And I'm like, yeah, so this is what I wore yesterday. So maybe there's a glow a little bit.
Amanda, it's like, what is it? Like 3:00 in the afternoon in Chicago?
And she's still got an afterglow.
Yeah,
And you just got home?
I know.
Now, is this the guy that lives on the outskirts of the city and he has like a ranch or something?
Yes. it
So
is.
this is getting spicy.
It's good. It's really, really good. And I'm not going to share too much, but it's just been very exciting. And yeah, I mean, I feel like I have like this little smile on all the time. So.
Well, you look great. Maybe that's the reason why. I don't know. Got this little glow to you. Hey, before we get
you.
into more about your podcast, which if you guys want to check her other episode out, what did we figure it out? It was 136. What did we figure
think-
out? We said
think
last time.
136.
Yeah. And it's about her ex-husband basically ended up being a gay sugar baby. So it's quite the episode.
Okay, you can't say gay because that would be bi, right? He's at least bi.
Well, yeah, okay. But
Yeah.
he was a
He's
sugar baby to other men.
Was he ever
Yes.
a sugar baby to a woman? Besides you? Because you had to sugar
Yeah,
that
oh my God.
motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of his past girlfriends were theoretically sugar mamas, but not in like a traditional sense. No.
Okay.
All right. So before we get into all that again, we'll give you guys a recap of that because it's so good. Amanda came to our party, and I want to get her thoughts. I haven't really talked to you since the party was over. You got here early. You were a very valuable pre-party member because you helped set up
Oh, dear God.
this party,
She came
and
in
Lily
early.
couldn't have done it without you.
She was
I couldn't
a
have done it without her.
godsend to me.
Honestly, I'm so glad that I was able to help you guys out with that because there are people who really love planning in the pre-party and, you know, it's a lot. But then when it comes like day of, it's all hell breaks loose and it's chaotic. And, you know, if you're the person that's hosting, like, you have to be present. And so I was glad I was able to take a little bit of that off y'all's shoulders. And I just enjoy it. It's like I'm a certified party planner. So I really do enjoy it.
Well, the setup for the pre-party at my house before we went to the concert was absolutely off the hook. Last year we had an amazing setup, and I thought, how are we going to top this? You guys topped it. And we put pictures of it on our Patreon. They bought these letters, and it said sugar.
They're kind of hollow letters.
yeah,
You can get them at Michael's, I think is where I got them. And you line them with wax paper, and then you put your charcuterie inside the letters. It's really cute.
And not only did they put all kinds of fruit and cheese and meats, but they also put flowers in there, and it was and nuts, and
There are pictures
really cool.
on the Patreon.
yeah.
It was gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous. Amanda actually too, they provided gift bags to all the sugar babies. Little pink, of course, pink gift bags.
Always pink.
Yeah. We've got pictures of all the pre-party stuff that they put together. And then Amanda, I felt bad because she was really working hard and then it was time for the pre-party. She had to run home, shower, get ready. So they kind of missed the party bus, but they got to the concert in time. And she looked so incredible. I took these pictures of her and we actually posted those on the Patreon. So
I love that picture.
I do
Honestly, the escalator one. I'm like, there's no filter on this. This looks great. And just the angle, it was very like candid. And I'm like, damn, I love that. So thanks for capturing that.
Yeah. So what did you think of the girls and the guys? But what were your overall thoughts of the party, starting from, I guess, Friday, the mixer?
So there's a lot of women, right? All very diverse, different backgrounds, experience within sugar dating. Kind of what I gathered prior to being there was within the chat was that I feel like everybody was kind of trying to learn something from everybody. There was a lot of communication between the girls asking questions and what would you do in this situation? And I really love that because I think that women supporting women is awesome. I truthfully, believe it or not, am kind of like an introvert. So me coming was really like a step outside of my comfort zone, not because of not wanting to be around you guys again, but really I'm like, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of names to remember. For me, my batteries get drained very fast, but I knew that I needed to go because I need new girlfriends. And so I was very happy that I think everybody else a little bit, they felt the same. They were all a little bit nervous to be there. A few people knew each other, but everyone for the most part was really nice. Just thought that everybody was very warm and welcoming and, where are you from? Very complimentary of each other. And there wasn't really any like animosity that I can remember. I mean, when people get drunk, whatever, but from the beginning, it was just very, very fun.
So what did you think of the suite up
The
at the
suite
W?
was great. So when we had went up there to set up or whatever, I was like, I've never been in this one. And I've spent many a nights at the W till 6 a.m. In the two top suites, but they faced the pool. And I couldn't understand, like, how come I've never faced the other way at this hotel? Those were residences before.
Really?
That was an apartment that you could live in.
Well,
And
it had
I
a
found
full
that out
kitchen and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a laundry room. And I was like, oh. So people lived there for a while. And I don't know when they transitioned those over to being suites, but that's awesome.
Well, that makes
kitchen was
sense
great.
then. Yeah. I was wondering, because a small kitchen is sufficient. That had a full kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a chef's kitchen with
Yeah.
the stainless steel countertops and everything. It was great.
So the pre-party, and you guys went and helped set that up,
Yep.
which was fun. You smuggled some
I think-
alcohol up there.
Yeah, we had some suitcases that we brought up.
Yeah.
Took quite a few. And then come to find out, they don't care if you bring in alcohol. I
Yeah.
don't know why I thought we needed to smuggle that.
Well, last year,
It's just like being conscientious, I think,
Yeah.
last year we started diving in unknowingly. I didn't know it, but into Bad Brad's alcohol that was in the suite. They're like $400 a bottle.
Yeah. Let me just say, I drink Casamigos Blanco religiously, and you can get it at Safeway or Costco, 45 to 65 bucks a bottle. For the same size bottle, they were charging $400 at the W.
Well, yeah.
So we hid his alcohol away and brought in our own.
Yes,
That's how we roll.
it was very smart. Did we go through everything?
No.
No. We brought a
No.
lot back to my house for the pre-party.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. The mixer went amazingly well. Everybody was dressed beautifully.
Yeah, everybody was just dressed to the nines. I got to meet all of the different men that were there, and they were also very interesting and sweet. And, everybody just wanted to know everyone's story, which as a talker, I'm like, yes, because same. I always want to know people's stories. So I spent a lot of time talking with a few of the different sugar daddies and understanding their whole, how they got into the lifestyle and where they lived. And a lot of them actually had been in Chicago at some point or another and knew kind of the whereabouts where I'm from and where I frequent. So that was cool too.
Yeah. So I've been to parties where I'm completely out of my element. I feel uncomfortable. I don't like starting conversations with complete strangers because, the fear of the unknown. And I don't know, I've just always been that way. But at these type of mixers, you feel like you can walk up to anybody and they're welcoming and loving and will just start a conversation with you and be happy to engage.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I think that everybody had a little bit of nerves, right? But when you look around and you can kind of see that in people's faces, you're like, okay, same. All right, let's talk. It's different when people are standing around like very confident and, maybe they're unapproachable because of the confident. But no, everybody was so nice and yeah, so well dressed. Everybody was fancy.
Yeah. It was a great time. What'd you think, Lily?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I do feel like the name tags really help, even as an icebreaker, because it had our actual name and our podcast name. So people were like, oh, you're Amanda from the Dichotomy Diaries. And
Yes.
then it also had where you were from. So there was 3 things that you could talk about, why did you choose that podcast name? How long have you lived in that location? So, yeah, I thought it was good.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
One of my favorite stories from this weekend is the girl from San Antonio who was talking about podcasts she was listening to, and she mentioned that she really loved this one called the Dichotomy Diaries. And somebody said to her, well, that girl's here. You were just talking to her in the kitchen. She did not realize that Amanda was at the party.
Yeah, she's a big fan. I can't remember what her podcast name is. Camille?
Well, I don't think she had. Oh,
I think
that's right. We interviewed her.
Yeah, and she talked about that. She was like, could not believe Amanda from Dichotomy Diaries was actually at this party. That may have been her highlight.
Honestly, she's so fucking great. Okay, so the day that we were setting up for the pre-party, and I was like, there's no way that we're going to make the bus. So I'm like, all right, now that I know that I can kind of relax and, but when we were on our way back, I was kind of stressed out. I'm like, oh, do we have to rush all this stuff? Well, she was back at the house with all the other girls, and I was texting with her because we had kind of become close after the first night. And I got back, and my entire room at the house was cleaned and made up, and my clothes were hung in the closet. It was the most motherly, sweet, kind thing, because in that moment when I was super stressed because I didn't know, do we have to rush back? Do I just have to put clothes on and not shower? I was freaking out a little bit. It was so calming for me, and I gave her the biggest hug. I'm like, how do you know that this is so great? I took a video. I have to send it to you guys, what she did to my room.
I hadn't heard that part.
I had.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
She really is a super fan.
Yeah.
She wants to be your personal assistant for free.
I'm like, girl, we sisters now. I'm like, that is just so, so, so great. And then, we were really tight for the rest of the time that we were there. But yeah, little things like that, I think, are important when building friendships and kind of understanding people.
So once you got to the stadium for the concert, what are your thoughts of the suites and the music, and how did that go?
The suites were great. And I mean, the music, I love the music. I'm not going to lie. I was like, wait, Collective Soul, do I know the music? And then it started to play. I was like, oh, yeah, I do.
Right. They did a great job.
So good. And then Darius and Hootie, I guess that I didn't realize how many songs of theirs I knew. I knew so many of his. Obviously, I'm a country music fan. I also didn't know how to dress, really. I had no idea what to wear because I was like, are we going country because of Darius? Are we doing 90s pop, kind of, with Hootie? And then Collective Soul, I was like, I actually don't know how to dress. So I just opted for this weird kind of like punk black vibe. It worked out. It was so good. Everyone was dancing. There's a lot of pictures, the food. It was nice to move between the two suites, too, because there were some people that stayed kind of posted up, and you had to run to the restroom. Hey, I'm going to go here. Let's just pop in. So it was nice to do a circuit.
Yeah, it was fun because different people were hanging out in different suites, and I saw people just kind of going back and forth. We had different food, different alcohol in each suite, so it was just kind of fun to bounce back and forth.
I mean, the locations, too, of the suites, right? You're like dead ass looking just smack dab at the stage, which was really cool to kind of see from like a panoramic view, everybody in the stadium.
Well, our first party, I did Dua Lipa, and we were on the side of the stage. An awesome suite. We were really, really close, got great views. Later that week, she was in Vegas, and I actually went to Vegas and met a sugar baby there, and we saw the concert again like a few days later, but I got dead center tickets. They're so much better because you can just see the whole thing. You can see the screen. You can see how everything plays out. Dead center makes a huge difference. Yeah,
it was really good. The whole night was just fantastic. I was tired. I was definitely tired at the end of it because I was dancing my butt off. I was drinking red wine too, which I was like, I don't know why I opted for that, but I was lit and I was tired.
Yeah, red wine makes me so tired.
So your outfit, you know what? It kind of had a risky business type of a look to it.
Yeah, I think
like
so.
Like a little Tom Cruise, glasses, risky business type. I don't know. That's what it reminded me. I loved it.
Yeah, she looked stunning. As usual,
you.
both nights.
So you and Camille, Sunday, didn't you guys go out to karaoke or something crazy in Old Town?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So again, Scottsdale was my home for 10 years. So now I'm in Chicago. Everybody here has 4 to 7 kids that I grew up with. So we're not on really the same level. So all of my friends being back in Scottsdale, I'm going to be very busy with this event. But at some point, I would like to kind of be someplace public where if you guys all want to come and collectively hang, let's do that. And so we decided to go out to Old Town. We ended up, I think, Boondocks, and it was really hot. FIFA, soccer, whatever was on. And that was good. One of my good best friend, like my brother, he basically came out and he was driving us around and whatnot. We went back to the house and some of the girls had, because I believe people like kind of went off and we're going to go to a pool. We're going to go do this. They were doing their own thing. At around 10, 11 o'clock, we got back to the house. And I was like, it's Sunday. I don't want to go to bed. And neither did any of the other girls. I was like, well, how do you guys feel about karaoke? Because I want to sing. And like, I didn't have any karaoke stuff at the house. So
I heard
actually
you
all
were a
ended
good
up-
singer.
Thank you.
What's your?
I mean, that's what I heard.
What's your
I
signature
can
song?
sing.
I'm guessing country.
It's honestly all over the board. I have like a pretty low register when I sing. So my safe zone is like a Cher heart vibe, like Melissa Etheridge even.
Really?
Oh, I would love to hear you sing next time.
Yes, absolutely. I love karaoke. I grew up with a dad who would embarrass the shit out of me by singing to me in all of the establishments. And so I hated it when I was younger. And then I'm like, oh, this is why he did this, because now I love it. And we all do it together. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun kind of showing them around the Old Town area, especially the girls that were from out of town.
I want to know who all karaoke'd. Which girls sang? You might not know all their podcast names. Did Camille sing?
Oh, God. She did a duet.
Okay.
I don't remember. I have videos. I could show you.
Lily, you ever karaoke?
I used to karaoke my ass off.
Really?
And I thought I was really good. And my friends encouraged me to do it. They're like, yeah, you could go professional, get up there. Of course, this is after probably a couple shots of tequila and a beer. And they had me convinced that I was good. And then one time they recorded me and I'm like, oh my God, I hate you guys. I sound awful. What the hell?
All right.
But they just thought it was so funny to get me out there.
There's something to be said. I do a lot of, when I create content, I'm always in my car. I'm always singing and I'm recording. When you're recording yourself or you're hearing yourself with music that has the lyrics in it in your car, you're like, damn, I am spot on. But when you take the
Right.
other person's lyrics away, as far as rap goes, I don't know where the lyrics live in my brain, but they're all up here. 90s, all of Eminem, just everything. And I'm like, I'm a good rapper. Oh my God, I'm not a good rapper. I know all the lyrics,
That's
but
so funny.
you cut Eminem out of that music. Oh, I sound like a little screechy white girl.
You know what? One of the funniest videos I've ever seen, or most endearing. Have you ever seen that one where they disguise Jewel, the singer, and she goes into a karaoke bar and she starts singing Jewel songs? And everybody
way.
is freaking out because she looks so homely. They made her look like, just this ordinary, she looks like a lonely librarian with like 8 cats or something. And she goes in and starts singing Jewel songs and she kills it, right? Of course, they're
That's
her
actually
songs.
one of my.
It's
That's
so
actually one
funny.
of my karaoke songs that you were meant for me because they
love
really
that
like
one.
the high and low. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, then she took off her disguise. She went out. They took her disguise off. And then she came back in like 20 or 30 minutes later, and everybody's like, you're not going to believe there was a girl in here. She was better than you.
Oh my gosh.
That's priceless.
Oh, it's such, you could find that
She
on
was
YouTube.
better than you.
Yeah. She can sing your songs better than you can.
Oh boy, I love it.
That's my favorite karaoke video.
I got to see that one.
Yeah, it's
You'll have
so
to
fun.
send it to me.
All right. So, Amanda, the party
Yes.
weekend went great. Anything else that came out of that?
I just think kind of like I was hoping for meeting a bunch of new women and men, but just a bunch of new people that I now have their socials and, just kind of we can communicate after the fact. Look forward to ones in the future. And like, again, it was just really cool to see the different backgrounds, what everyone did and where they came from. And everybody is so unique. So
They are,
I
yeah.
love that. I'm such a nerd, so I'm like always collecting data up here, and there's so many different types of people.
Well, this time around, I expanded it. I tried to include almost every single person that applied. At a point, though, we got a little bit of overflow and I couldn't accommodate everybody. In the beginning, I was just like, everybody, I don't care what you look like, where you came from. If you are a fan of the show and you're a Patreon member, whether you're free or paid or whatever, you're going to get pretty much an invitation. Now, I'm sorry for those that didn't, because we did end up running out of spots, but I tried to be as inclusive as possible. So we had a much more diverse group this time than we had last time, because I had to really narrow it down, and we kind of picked the best of the best in the application because I just didn't have very many spots. But this party was an eye-opener because we did have so many all across the board type people, but I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun.
I loved it.
I think my biggest regret is I found it hard to spread myself thin enough to actually visit with everyone and have an in-depth conversation with anyone.
Yeah, it was a little too many people.
So I was most grateful for the people who either came early because I was able to really get to know them well, or the people who stayed over a couple extra days, because then I finally got a chance to actually sit down and visit with them. So that was one of my takeaways, is finding a way to spread myself thinner. But I think maybe smaller numbers is key for that.
And then we always have people that come that surprise you. You have a kind of a preconceived notion of what they're going to be like.
100%.
And they come and you're like, this person's completely different. And I either love them or I'm not so fond of them. But it goes both ways, right?
Yeah. So the weirdest thing is I'm old and blonde. So I feel like I have a double handicap. So I had to put together a pictorial organizer that had everybody's photo with their name, their podcast name, where they were from, just for my keeping track of who's invited, where are they staying, when are they flying in, and whatnot. So looking at those photos that people sent me to use for this organizer, I had a little bit of preconceived notion about what their personality might be like or what they looked like in real life. There were some major surprises. There were some people on there that I was like, well, she just looks like a very conservative school marm. And then I met her in person and she was not conservative, and she looked probably 15 years younger than her photo in real life. Bubbliest personality. Absolutely had a blast with her. And yeah, nothing like I imagined from the photo.
Well, and Alejandra too.
I agree with that.
She connected with somebody and I was like, this person's application, their video to come to the party was kind of dull. And I didn't really know how she was going to come off. And then everybody loved her. Yeah. It was fantastic.
I don't know if we should name names.
I know. I don't know how to.
The one I was talking about was Hazel.
Oh, yeah.
So Hazel, we need to get you an updated photo shoot, you hottie with the body.
Oh, yeah.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Well, do you remember at the party when Marcus, when you were like, this picture, this is not your best picture, Amanda?
Oh.
Like on the wall, we were looking, and I was like looking at everyone, and I think it's okay. And you have much better pictures. Then I was looking at, and I was thinking about the same concept. It's like, if I had to take everyone's picture and give it to the person that it would be probably difficult.
Yeah. A picture
Not saying
oftentimes.
that anybody was like catfished at all.
No.
But I feel like everybody looked so much better.
Yeah. You're perceived differently in person than you are just from a 1D photo.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One-dimensional.
Okay, so the party was a great success. Thank you, Amanda, so much. Thank you, Lily. I could not have pulled this off without you guys. So in my head, I'm thinking of one thing, but then it just is so grandiose and things just become much bigger of a responsibility than I have time for. And Lily was absolutely amazing. She took it over. She didn't even tell me what she was doing. She just got my credit card and said, I'll take care of it. And she did.
God, I worked a lot of hours on this. I have gotten to the point where I'm working part-time for Marcus. I think I worked time and a half or double time
Oh, man, you
getting
did.
ready for that party. It was insane.
Yeah.
I want to give a big shout out to Blue Eyed Princess too, because
Yes.
she and Amanda flew in a whole day early, helped me do all the shopping, helped me do all of the food prep, helped me haul everything, all the alcohol and everything to Bad Brad's suite. And they busted ass. And I felt so bad that they basically I missed a little bit of the pre-party because all I had to do, I had already showered. So all I had to do was go home, touch up my makeup, get dressed and come back. But they still needed to shower in the whole nine.
I know.
And it just took us longer to set everything up than anticipated. So I did feel bad.
But even though you guys missed that, everybody, it was just, they were blown away.
The food
Absolutely
looked
blown
so
away.
beautiful. People were afraid to eat it. They're
I
like,
know. They were like,
So true.
yeah, they didn't want to
It
touch
actually
it.
always happens in events that I've done in the past. I think I was telling you, or in one of the chats, I was saying I did this champagne and donut wall. You know, it's like big when you walk into an event.
Cool.
You take a donut and you have a glass of champagne. It's like people are afraid to be the first one to ruin it because
Yeah.
it's almost like a photo op. And so whoever does that, then they think nobody else will get the photos.
that, and then it starts looking like art. You're like, I
Right.
can't ruin someone's masterpiece.
Yeah, but that I'm telling you, it always happens. Whenever you turn food into something beautiful, people don't want to touch it. I guess we probably could have put up future thinking, probably could have put up signs. Just be like, just eat it.
Oh,
Take
well,
your
they
pictures,
did
just eat
after
it.
concert party, which we didn't really call it a party, but it certainly was.
It was a skinny dipping escapade, is what I heard.
Oh, yes. They dove into the food pretty heavily. So
And the pool naked.
And the pool and lots of other things. All right. Well, let's wrap that up because I want to talk about your podcast. So I interviewed you fairly early in the show, and it's gotten bigger and better, and I think you're doing it now full time. So tell us about, because we got a lot of new listeners. Why don't you give us a quick recap of what the show was about and like where you're going with this without giving away all the spoils.
Yeah, the elevator speech is always so difficult because I'm like, what do I mention? What do I not? Really, what it's about is the last 3 years of my life meeting an individual that I married who was outwardly Mormon, and then me kind of peeling back through weird experiences that I would go through with him, that he really wasn't as pure and godlike as he came off. And I end up finding out that he is actively, while we're married, a sugar baby, has 6 to 7 sugar daddies all around the country. He was a male escort. So on, just the different type of escorting sites, he was actively doing adult content, live webcamming and things like that. And then also that he was just a very, very bad degenerate gambler. And so the podcast really is a chronological narrative of me going through that and kind of unpacking it. One, because I feel like the story needed to be told, but two, because I made some horrible choices and I needed to just get that shit out of my soul. Like the shame I was feeling after all this, I'm like, no. So my part of the story, I think, takes up 24 episodes. Very long, very detailed. After me, I actually interview about 6 of his exes who I found out about last summer. And we really put together a timeline and realized that he's done this to about between 14 and 16 women. And so then the 6 of them share. And that's when we started video, because I think that was important. And the story, it's still ever evolving.
Did you start out audio only and then decide to do video?
Yes.
Okay. And then all these other exes that are coming forward, are they all down with the video? Are they down to put their dirty laundry actually on video?
Yes.
Wow.
So, yeah. And actually named too. It was really hard for me to feel like I could even ask them to share, because I didn't want to be that girl that was like, hey, I want your juicy story. I know it was traumatic, but for the downloads. It wasn't really that, though. It was like me getting to know them to kind of understand what my life was through what they had experienced. And every single one of them said something along the lines of, maybe we'll see at the beginning. And then when they listen to all of my episodes, they're like, fuck yes, let's go. He needs to go down.
So my big question is, I'm sure he's aware of your podcast. Do you think
Yes.
he's listened to all the episodes, and has he responded at all?
So I used to say, everyone asks this, he's so vain. And I used to say how I could picture all of this was that he would tell everyone that he didn't. And like his new girlfriend, fiance, whatever she is, say, don't listen to it. But then I think if he was alone, because he's just so narcissistic and egotistical, that he would need to. He has no self-control, the gambling, the sex addict, all the shit. But I come to find out, I think it was after Joanna's interview, he had not listened to it at all. Someone sent him her video interview, and she was actually the one that put him in jail for a felony. And he started going through all the episode names, and he texted me, and we're not speaking, we're divorced, all this stuff. And he goes, wow, Amanda, cream pie confessions, Sergeant steroids, talk about clickbait. I thought you were better than this. That's what he said.
Oh my God.
Did you respond?
Gaslighting.
I did. No, so much gaslighting. I did, because a few days prior to that, he was reaching out to me and he sent me a text that said, hey, I'm starting something up and I would really like your input. I know you have a very successful podcast and you're amazing at marketing. Could you help me? After all of that, he's asking for my help. So he was complimenting me on it, but he didn't really know. And then he finds out and he's like, oh, wow.
Oh gosh. How long ago was that?
March, I would
Okay.
say.
And
So
speaking
about
of
3 or 4 months
marketing,
ago.
you've got some merch out there. You sent me a picture
did.
of a really cute candle that says,
Yes.
want to share locations.
Yeah, I have some really cheeky, cute merch that I've just been creating kind of in my downtime, which is non-existent, but finally felt confident enough that there was enough stuff to put it out there. Still figuring out the shipping and, the different vendors and stuff, but I love it. I think it looks really cute.
It is cute. Was that his question to you about sharing locations, or was that you to him?
Oh, it wasn't even a question. He actually just shared his location with me on like day 2 of knowing each other.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if he was trying to keep track of where you were so he could pull off his escapades.
I think yes, but there was never an ask. It was more so, hey, I'm going to share my location with you because I want you to know that I'm safe, which prompted me to share mine with him. You know what I mean? But that's, of course, he wanted to know where I was and kind of
Yeah.
track me. But I don't know if there's ever really been a scenario where I share locations with someone that I'm dating that has turned out good. So everybody's always going to say, it's for safety. It's for
Yeah.
safety. It's like, no.
The only
not.
person that I've ever felt absolutely comfortable sharing my location with for safety was Marcus. And
Oh, right.
I just said, this might be annoying. You're going to get notifications, but if I go on a meet and greet and you never hear from me again, track my damn location and find my body and prosecute the bastard. But as soon as I became exclusive with Trucker, then I stopped because I feel
know,
safe
and I
now.
was offended because I wanted to know where you were at one day, and I looked and I couldn't see it, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I turned that off."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Damn it!"
Oh, it's funny because I could never lie to my boss about where I was
I know,
because
right?
he always knew where I was.
We were waiting on you or
I'll-
something. You were running late, and I was like, "Where is she?" And I looked at your location, and I was like, "Off."
Yeah. I thought I told you I was going to turn it off. Maybe I forgot.
I know Alejandra's asked me a couple times. Here, just you want to share locations? I'm like, hell no.
Hell to
You
the
don't
no.
need to know where I'm at, and I don't want to know where you're at. It causes way too many problems.
I think for girls, for women, it's a outward commitment, and it's not like, like marriage or, it's saying, hey, we're exclusive. But if someone shares their location with you, to me, it would mean like, I have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
That's what that says to me. But there's really something about, I've been like writing about this a lot, about the psychology between the location sharing, the obsession that comes with it when you're being abused and or cheated on.
Yeah.
We try to, I think I was talking with Blue Eyed Princess about this actually, about how we try to make excuses for the people that we're with when they do bad things because we don't want to believe that they would do bad things. And while location can be a way that you find out they're doing bad things, you can also use it to justify basically anything. I used to be the girl that zoomed in real close to see where his little blue dot was, because why would he be at this place where this girl works? He's probably next door at the smoothie place. He loves smoothies.
Yeah.
Like,
it becomes
that kind of stuff.
almost stalkerish.
Well, you have to make up
Yes.
scenarios in your head to fill in the gaps.
I have a great
Totally.
story
And,
about that
yeah,
for another
it's-
day.
It's tough.
Yeah.
This was before I knew anything about location tracking, but do we have time for a quick story?
We got time.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Oh, God. So my ex-husband was a prolific cheater. I caught him, thought we had got through it, thought it was never going to happen again. And I started noticing he was working a lot of overtime, night shifts. So I was like, this is so weird. Why is he suddenly working so many extra night shifts? And so we used to do a lot of reserving of hotel rooms on Priceline.com, I think it was called, or something.
I use them.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? I know his email. I'm going to see if he's at a hotel room somewhere, thinking that motherfucker might be at a hotel room just here in my small town. No, I get on there. He's at a hotel room in Phoenix. I call him. He's like, yeah, I'm at work. Things are kind of quiet here at work. And I know there's a hotel room in Phoenix under his name. So, of course, I'm trying to justify, like, maybe he got a hotel room for a friend. Maybe the guy didn't have a credit card, so he did it under his account. And I called my sister. I'm like, I'm freaking out. What do I do? And she's like, let's get in the car and let's drive to that hotel.
Oh, no.
And we
Yes.
drove to Phoenix in the middle of the night.
It's a long drive, too, when you're doing that.
Yeah. And we were speeding. We got pulled over for speeding.
Oh my gosh.
Now I'm shaking like a leaf because I'm so upset about what I might find. My sister's driving like a bat out of hell. We get pulled over. The cop's like, you know what? My sister told the story of, I thought I was trying to catch my cheating husband. And he goes, I just went through the same thing. You guys can go, but just slow it down. We didn't
Oh my
even
God,
get a
that's
ticket.
amazing.
He's like, that's a new one. That's creative. So I'll give you that.
He said he'd just gone through the same thing, catching his spouse cheating. So we get there and I'm like, how do I catch him red-handed? Because I don't have a key. I don't have a hotel room number. So we drive around and we find his car in the parking lot. And I go inside the lobby and I said, hey, I'm supposed to meet my husband here. He just came in from out of town. I'm calling his cell phone and his room, and he's not answering. So can you just give me an extra key? And they are absolutely not allowed to do that. But apparently I'm a good actress. And I'm like, here's his name. Here's his driver's license information. Like, I had his information. And so she's like, yeah, sure, honey. She gave
my
me a
gosh.
key.
Are you shaking at this point?
I'm shaking. I can't talk. My mouth is dry. I'm just praying. It's his car. So now what else can it be? Now he's loaned his car to a friend. So I'm going to walk in and it's
scenario
going to be his
shot.
friend. I walk in. There he is with this chick that I had met before that was a coworker who worked in Phoenix in the Phoenix branch of his business. And she's sitting there on her laptop working in just a tank top and no bra and a pair of panties. He's buck ass naked watching TV right next to her. So obviously there had already been copulation. God, that was...
What did you say?
I was shaking. I don't know what I said. I was shaking and dry crying because I felt so drained and dehydrated that I couldn't actually properly even cry. I feel like I was in a state of shock.
What did he say?
I don't remember.
I gotta know.
He gets up covering his genitalia
in those moments.
Yeah,
you know?
he gets up covering his genitalia with his hand, like both of us haven't seen it already. God damn it! Throws on some clothes, tries to gather up all his crap. She's the whole time going, "I'm sorry, Lily. I'm sorry. He told me you guys were getting divorced. He told me you were separated. I had no idea you guys were still together." Yeah, it was absolutely horrible.
What time of night was this?
It was probably around I think we probably left around 8 p.m. So it's probably around 11 p.m.
Oh, and they were both up. She was working?
Yeah.
Interesting.
She was up working. And she was also married. So that's why I guess they were at a hotel. But her husband was out of town.
So what happened to the relationship after that?
Oh, it was rocky.
You stayed with him though?
Yeah. We worked it out primarily for my kid. Because... yeah, I didn't want to put her through another stepdad scenario. And he was a pretty decent father figure to her. She was on his insurance. And I had already been divorced twice. And I didn't want to put her through a third divorce.
Was that the first time you caught him?
Yes. That was the first time I caught him red-handed. I had seen some text messages on his phone. I had seen some very suspicious emails, but that's the first time I had absolute, indisputable proof.
You walk in on your husband with another girl in the room. Wow.
I'm just so grateful. I carry a handgun when I travel. I'm so grateful I didn't have a gun because it would have been one of those temporary insanity. I felt like I was temporarily insane. It was so shocking. I felt like I had PTSD afterward, kind of zombie-ish for a while.
You do. You get, it's actually called like CPTSD. It's complex PTSD when you go through one of these moments where it's a fight or flight response. And there's a new one that's called, or there's like a few new ones, but there's one that's called like fawn. Oh, fawn and freeze. So some people, they start apologizing, which is like the fawn part. Like, I'm so sorry. And you're like, why am I apologizing? But it just comes out. Or the freeze and you like black out. That happened to me so many times where I was like, I don't remember for 20 whole minutes because that was just so traumatic. And it literally creates some sort of brain damage through your receptors.
Yeah. I was so grateful I was with my sister because I couldn't have driven home. I was a mess. I was a mess the whole way up there. I was a mess the whole way back.
Did you guys go home that night?
Yeah, he did too. He went home in his car. My sister and I went home in hers.
So you guys went home. You went back to the same place.
Yeah. And I called in sick the next day. I couldn't even function. I called in sick to work. And he didn't go to work. And we talked and kind of decided to just give it some time. Of course, every time something suspicious would come up with this cheating man, he would deny, or once he was caught, he was so sorry. He loved me. It would never happen again. He finally learned his lesson. He didn't want to lose me. Yeah.
That was going to be my question. So, I mean, there was multiple occurrences where something like this had happened, I'm assuming. Did you feel when you made the decision for your family to stay, did you feel like you wore the pants after that, like you were in charge and that he was listening to you? And how long did that last for until a new thing would happen?
No, that wasn't his personality. His personality was, I wouldn't say he was a huge gender role type of thing, but he's a Scorpio. Come on. Yeah. He was also a Scorpio. He's one of my reasons why I don't date Scorpios anymore. Sorry, Scorpios. I'm sure there's tons of you that are beautiful people. I'm probably friends with a bunch, but I don't think I would ever date one again just because I've been stung.
Letting the stars dictate who you date.
I've been stung twice so badly. Mm-hmm. But he would just apologize and then kind of expect things to kind of go back to normal, which they didn't, because quite honestly, after that, I had had suspicions and we'd had arguments and we'd had situations. But after that, truly, that's when my actual love for him began to die. I didn't love him romantically anymore. He broke my heart in pieces. And he was still a good friend, and he was still a good provider, and he was still very good to my child. And so basically after that, it became a friendship roommate type of thing. And he began traveling a lot for work, which made it easier. I'm sure he cheated everywhere he went, but had I ever reciprocated, he would have immediately been done with me. And he said to my face, I'm grateful that you can forgive me. I'm grateful that you can stay in this marriage, but just know if you should ever dare to cheat on me, we're done that minute that I find out. It's over.
That's someone who has the lowest self-confidence and self-worth and self-respect. That would be devastating to him if you would have done that, right? But also he's putting that out there as a form of a scare tactic for you.
Yeah.
She won't do it. She's afraid that I'll leave her if she does.
Yeah, he doesn't act like it outwardly, but he does have really poor self-esteem.
Yeah, you can never really tell. They're all
He comes across
the peacock
quite
feathers.
Yeah,
You know?
comes across quite confident, but
Oddly enough, though, you guys are still good friends.
we're still friends.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in a long time. He's remarried, and his new, very much younger wife does not like us to stay in contact, but I think I'll always be friends with him because we went through a lot together. Good and bad. The good, the bad, and the shocking.
Yep. So, Amanda, back to you. Where do you see things going now with your podcast and your future?
Really,
What's your plans?
There's so many different ways that it can go, and I'm not trying to put just kind of like season 2, right? Like I'm not trying to put that into a box of I want to tell another story just like mine. I'm trying to be more open and receptive to people coming to me with extremely crazy stories. I put out a link, hey, if you want to set up a call to do almost like a pitch. I definitely know that I want season 2 to be in the same format. So chronological hour, at least episodes, at least 5 to 10 probably. But people have contacted me about issues with the family court system and weaponizing the court system against mothers of people who are married to abusive sociopaths, psychopaths, right? It's a lot of people knowing that by me, I don't know, kind of like pulling back the curtain on my situation, that they should maybe do the same for theirs, even if it's not the same. And then there's been so many men that have contacted me. And that's a huge win for me because I make this the most clear. And if anybody does not know, I am so not a scorned, jaded woman. I have every reason to be, probably also every reason to be a lesbian. And I'm like, I'm not. I love men. I'm so heterosexual. I love men. I also care so deeply about men's mental health. And I think that that's part of the reason I ended up with a bunch of psychopaths. But it's important for me to let them tell their story because they don't ever want to talk. So when you have a man in front of you being like, yeah, I want to talk about this now, about what she did or what, you know, like my parents did or something, that's a unique situation. And I'm like, ooh, it's a twist.
I have a couple questions for you, kind of piggybacking off of that. So if your ex, we call him the Dick, is that what we call him?
Yeah, Dick, the Dick. Yeah.
Okay.
The Dick.
If he wanted to be a guest on your show, would you let him?
He actually asked me, I forgot about that too. He asked me when can we record my episode? And I was like, you are out of your damn mind.
I think it would be an amazing episode.
Oh, I know. It's a moral conflict for me because he's very much the person that has always said, I'm going to be famous one day. I'm going to own the Lakers and the Dodgers. And he loves himself. And he just lives in La La Land. And giving him a platform, goes against like everything that I think that he deserves. And I actually think that giving him a platform could potentially harm other people indirectly because
Yeah.
he's so conniving. If you put him on screen, that's
Oh,
like,
I can just see him starting his own podcast called The Dick Diaries.
you guys, this is how you know how egotistical he is and how truly like fragile his ego is. Why would he have not done that yet? If he is obsessed with money and mine is going so well, he claims that he's so smart. The only answer is because if he did, then people would have to in turn come and listen to mine, which would literally break all of their kind of perceptions of who he is
Yeah.
with the truth. That's the only reason.
He's probably just hoping no one in his inner circle knows about or listens to your podcast.
Yeah, they all do. They all do.
Have any of them reached out to you, mutual friends that you are shocked
Yeah.
that they would still reach out to you?
I've had most of his cousins, first cousins, have reached out to me and been like, this is amazing. I'm so happy that you're doing this. He sucks, and like they want to tell their stories. And then there was a few ex-best friends. The thing was that Dick didn't really keep a close circle of friends, which is kind of like, that's how they all are really, is like they have one person they're leeching off of and then they move on.
Yeah.
A lot of his past friends had no idea the life that he lived. All they knew was what he showed on social media. So when I pulled back and I'm like, yeah, dude's going on escort dates at the Luxor. They're like, what? The guy who's outwardly homophobic?
Yeah.
What? With men? Yeah. It's always been interesting. There's always some kind of message in my message request that's like 7 paragraphs long that comes from somebody that knew him once upon a time that wants to tell me something.
Wants to get something off their chest. Now,
Yeah.
you're an attorney, right?
I'm not an attorney, so I have my MLS. I have my Master of Legal Studies from Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law in HR and Employment Law. So it's more of a corporate legal degree,
Gotcha.
contracts.
I'm just curious, is there any kind of legal injunction that he could try to impose against you, like a cease and desist for?
Totally. He tried. So during our divorce proceedings, he hired an attorney, and his attorney essentially issued what family court would call like a gag order. And what they said within the gag order wasn't that I couldn't have the podcast and talk, but that I couldn't outwardly reach out to his family or friends and have them come on the show, which that never even happened. They all reached out to me. So it was kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm listening, but I didn't. When I first started, it was a big, big concern and very confusing to me as to why a lot of podcasts will do like the anonymous name thing. But then I have some that I listen to and they give the full name of the person. And I'm like, does it need to be anonymous or does it not? Well, it turns out it's up to you. And it just depends. One is poking the bear more. And then as far as what you can share, what they can do is they can bring like a defamation of character lawsuit or a slander libel lawsuit against you.
That's if what you're
number-
saying is not true.
Correct. And so that was the thing, the number one way to win against something like that, which also would require him to hire a defamation attorney, which he just doesn't have money ever, would be to just say, here's the facts that I have. This is true. And so that's why everything that I share in the podcast, my story and all the girls' stories, in every story that we'll have, all the different seasons into the future, it has to be factual and there has to be something that it can be backed up with.
Now, you don't ever actually name him in the Dichotomy Diaries, right?
She gives plenty of hints. He's easy to
I
find.
don't name him. And I think that I did that more so not out of respect for him. I probably would have named him now knowing what I know. Because one, it's so easy for people to go back and look at tagged photos from 2 years ago and find it. Or like Amazon wedding registry.
Yeah,
there's
I
so
found
many
his
ways to
name
find it.
online.
Yeah.
Well,
there's really no reason
had
that
help.
that I shouldn't have, but yeah.
Well, Amanda, it's lovely seeing you today.
Yes.
Thank you.
We love hanging out with Amanda Panda.
Yeah, can't thank you enough for coming in and helping Lily. And then good luck with the future of your podcast. Keep us updated on the progress.
Absolutely, I will do so. I actually just started a Patreon and I don't know how to do anything with it.
I know it's a little bit of a learning curve.
I might be reaching out to you for some tips on that. But yeah, next time I'm in Phoenix, which I hope is soon, we should get together. And again, if you guys need any help with anything moving forward, I'm here for you guys.
Fantastic. Well, if you guys want to kill some time with a story that will suck you in from the very beginning, episode 1, I was hooked. I listened to up in the 20s and then I got busy, but I need to get caught up. It's a great podcast and it's a true life story. People love
True crime.
true, heartbreak,
Biographical.
things like that. But
Yeah.
this story goes places that you can never imagine. It's just every episode was jaw dropping.
You're going to have to do like a documentary miniseries
Yeah.
situation. That's how you can really monetize that sucker.
Yeah. So anyway,
We've been talking.
yeah. So
Yeah.
check out the Dichotomy Diaries podcast on your favorite podcast player. Lily, thank you so much for joining me. Look lovely as always.
Gracias.
And you guys, we want to see you on our Patreon and Dichotomy Diaries. Apparently she has one now. So that would be great if you supported her. But like I said, you'll get all kinds of behind the scenes photos, videos, a whole bunch of good stuff. And it's free. Love that.
Yes.
Okay. Until next episode. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.